Good evening. Happy Sunday. Jared Bowen's on fire. What a goal that was, Chris.
Oh, quality, wasn't it? Quality goal. He could have had a couple, you know. He could have had a couple tonight.
Yeah. It's lovely, isn't it? Isn't it lovely? He looked so delighted, didn't he, when he scored that goal? The other players looked delighted for him as well. Even Ashley Cole, who I don't like, on the bench, looked happy for him. But yeah, that's a cheerful way to start a Sunday show anyway. I had a funny feeling about that German taking over. I know there was the usual nationalist stuff about, we can't have a German in charge of the England side. But think about it. Who knows better than a German what it takes for England to win a World Cup? Think about that, right? So it takes 3 West Ham players: Kilman, Bowen. I don't know who the third one's going to be yet. That's the trouble. Right. So we've got a couple of big things to discuss tonight. We're going to do a sort of semi-structured show. Good evening, everyone in the chat, by the way, and everyone who's watching us live. Happy Sunday to you all. We're going to start by talking about the rats who are trying to lead the sinking ship. You know, we know Lopetegui's ship. We know Lopetegui's on his way soon. We know that. It's just a matter of when. That, to me, doesn't give an excuse for players to want out the door or to use it as an opportunity to ask to leave. Just because there's pressure on them, just because they're playing crap or they're banned, there's no need to do it. We'll come to them in a minute. We'll deal with them one at a time. And then I want to talk about, obviously, the big topic. What's Sullivan up to, apart from the obvious with his latest girlfriend? What else is he up to in a West Ham sense? So we're going to go through the new manager odds because there's been a few interesting updates on there and a few names I don't even bloody recognise. But we're going to go through them after. So that's the agenda. That is the show. So, Chris, anything to say before we start?
No, not really. Nothing that we won't necessarily discuss on this show. I'm actually quite happy we've not had any games over the course of the last week or week and a half.
Sort of suspended the agony for a while.
Yeah, well, it kind of has. It has, and I'm just, you know, as you know, I mean, we've had a couple of conversations, and I'm just not really happy as a West Ham fan right now. I'm sure many aren't either.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say really. I'm just going into games not overly optimistic. I'm the biggest pessimist ever now when it comes to West Ham. It's probably being a realist actually rather than being a pessimist. So no, there's not been a whole heap of news either, but there is obviously a lot of noise, negative noise, isn't there? Which we'll discuss tonight, so we can go through that for sure.
I think it's where we are. And there are, you know, who is ever happy as a fan? Who is ever happy in a situation like this? I mean, I know I'm not. It's kind of when we started this channel, it was kind of, we try and be positive, and then the rug just gets pulled out from underneath you when you realise the guy that they've hired is fucking useless, right? Really, really useless. And so, what can you say? What can you do apart from be miserable about it? And then
we tried that,
Sullivan's doing his, we did. We give it a really good go, didn't we? I even waited 10 games to really get stuck in. I really, really held off, showed a great restraint, you know. And then it was just...
You were loving all the players, mate. You were loving everyone. There was no negatives at all, was there, at West Ham? I think... I
so wanted to go early. But I held back, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. All the way back to that Chelsea game, I could not believe what I was watching. I thought, bloody hell, this guy's barely a football manager, you know? Well, in the Premier League, anyway. As we know, it's more challenging than everybody else, right? Anywhere else. We'll come to that as well. Right, so... what we're going to do as well, we're going to do what we did last week. So I'm going to start some comments as favourites and then the ones that I want to read back. And then we'll have like little breaks in the show and we'll go back to those. So rather than slap every comment up and get lost. All right. So if you want to put in a thoughtful comment that's going to drive a question, please do. Please do. Let's first of all talk about the rats. The rats looking to desert the sinking ship. And I'm going to start off. There are 5 of them that I've got in my crosshairs tonight, Chris. There are some others as well that I'll mention just to wind you up. But we'll start off with the old favourite. I said this quite a few times before the season started. Paqueta wanted out. I've said it a lot since then as well. He wants out, and he wants out again in January because he's worried his career is going to go down the toilet if he gets convicted and he won't be able to play football again. So I'm in 2 minds as to whether that is. I think I might be doing the same thing in his shoes, right? Because Brazil will just brush it under the carpet, and he will be able to continue playing his international career and everything as if nothing happened. So I think as long as we get a small fee for him, that's better than £0, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think he just needs to go. If I'm being honest, I can't see an upturn in form from him. There was a slight improvement in the last game, but overall, I see nothing there that makes me think we really need to hold on to this player. You know, he's lost his head. His mind's elsewhere. I think the best thing for him and for West Ham would be that he would leave the club. I mean, it's crazy to be saying this stuff because we know that arguably he's one of our most talented players. But on current form and for a very long time now, he's just been woeful. So I think he needs to go. And hopefully with him, again, I can't believe I'm saying it, with him going, hypothetically speaking, maybe it will give someone else a chance to go into that 10 role. Could it be Kudus? Maybe. I don't know. But, you know, maybe that will give another player a chance to, you know, take his spot and ultimately be a lot more effective than he's been this season, which is not going to be hard, is it?
Well, interestingly, in one of the articles, we've been linked to the young Man City player, aren't we? What's his name? McAtee?
Yeah, McAtee. Yeah.
I don't know how good or bad he is. What's he like, do you know?
Well, I think there's some positive, you know, kind of reports on him. I think he's only played like a handful of games for City. He was on loan somewhere as well, I believe, sort of last season. I can't remember which club it was. But he looks like a decent young player, so potentially could be good. But, I mean, this is the thing, though, Gav, because I did look at who we'd been linked with over the course of the last, you know, week or so, going into the January window. And I've got a list of them. McAtee's one. Then you've got the likes of Kyle Walker-Peters. Not really understanding that one, bearing in mind that we brought in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But I think that's probably more for actually the summer because his contract expires. And then you've got, who's the other guy? Oh, this is the best, well, not the best one. Paul Pogba. What do you make out of that? We're linked
what
with
the
Paul
hell
Pogba.
would we do with Paul Pogba?
Mate, honestly.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Well, again, why? But it's the funny thing is, it's typical West Ham that we'd be linked to a player like that, right? Someone that's been banned, not been playing for ages, is on a free transfer. But apparently West Ham and Newcastle were looking at him as a potential option into the January window. How would you feel about Pogba coming into West Ham?
I'd hate it because I think he's a waster. I think he went to Man United and absolutely took the piss. And I don't have any objection to him taking the piss out of Man United. But to go to one of the world's biggest clubs and to act the way he acted, no, that is not the sign of a true professional in my eyes. So I don't want him. If he's going to do that at Man United, he'd run right at West Ham. There's no bloody way. I would have him anywhere near West Ham.
Conversely, you could look at it the other way, though, Gal, in the sense that, okay, so he's essentially been banned for the best part of a year from football for, I don't know, performance-enhancing drugs, whatever it was. So maybe that's the wake-up call for him to think, you know, I've been away from football for a year. Maybe he could come back to the player that perhaps he was earlier on in his career. I'm not saying, by the way, it's not
Chris, it begs a question, though. What you just said begs a question. If he was like that on performance-enhancing drugs, what was he like off of performance-enhancing drugs?
That's a fair point.
So I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? I don't want him anywhere near. I don't want him anywhere near. But anyway, that's player number one. So I think we're kind of agreed. He's got to go. He's playing rubbish anyway. What use is it? He's just costing us possession, costing us goal-scoring opportunities. Nah, get rid of him. He's not doing the role that he's supposed to be in the team to do. The second one bothers me, but we all see it coming, and that's Mohamed Kudus, who's, as we know this season, been to watch Arsenal like a fan. He's been linked with Liverpool constantly since Arne Slot took over, and even last year when Blokey was there, Kloppy. And also this week he's been linked to Saudi. So I think from this we can guess his agent is doing overtime trying to, and I think his agent is his brother now, right? Okay. So it's one of them, right? It's one of them. It's an Arnie type situation where the brother's trying to get himself a lovely payday. It's all about the player. Of course, it is all about the player's welfare. It's also about the brother's welfare and his paycheck as well, right? So I would say that for that reason, if there is a deal on the table for real with Saudi, and I don't think there is, I think everybody good is linked with Saudi, right? If there's a deal on the table, I think his brother would have their hands off and he would be off to Saudi, irrespective of whether Arsenal or Liverpool are interested, because he will make much more money out there. Therefore, the brother will make more money out there. I would say if it was player's choice, I think he's got, I don't even want to say this out loud, but before we got him, Arsenal were deep favourites to get him. And he's already in London. But having said that, if he wants to win something, he don't go to Arsenal, does he? They've already proven that. He goes to Liverpool, who look bloody good this year, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'd be gutted if Kudus left. Well, I say if because I think it's inevitable that he will go at some point, whether it's the end of the season. But I mean, for one, I've got to I'll have a gap in my wall behind me because I've got his shirt beyond my left ear, so that'd be a bit annoying. But yeah, look, I mean, again, I'd be devastated if he went to Arsenal. I don't think I could handle that again. Not to those mugs, couldn't bear it. But you know, this is the thing. Yeah, that for me would be the worst possible option. I mean, that'd be really right up there with, even if, like, let's say hypothetically, Spurs were in for him. I don't know who would be worse, Spurs or Arsenal. Honestly, I can't think of who would be worse.
At the moment, for me, Arsenal, because Spurs would just they're comical, aren't they? They beat us, and I think did they lose to Villa or beat Villa? I can't remember what it was, but after the Villa game, they've lost to Palace and Ipswich, 2 unlosable games. Only at Spurs can you get a turnaround in form like that. So congratulations, Tottenham. Well done.
But you know, going back to
the one upside,
going back to Kudus, I think the more likely move, in my opinion, where I think he would fit in, fit like a glove, would be Liverpool. Particularly if Salah leaves, at the end of the season, which I think most Liverpool fans are expecting to happen. There's obviously a void on that right-hand side if they play him as a right winger, coming in on his left, right? So that seems to me like a perfect fit for him, as much as, again, I'd hate to say it. Would he come in at Arsenal? How is he going to come in? I mean, would they play him in the, where they play Saka? Don't know. I can't really see that. Or were they going to play him in the 10? Who knows? But for me, I'd be gutted if he left, or when he leaves. But I'd be even more gutted if he goes to Arsenal. Liverpool, I could probably take. Arsenal,
I want to see him go abroad, because as soon as he plays for a decent team, you know how good he is. As soon as he plays for a decent team, he'll be bashing in goals left, right, and centre. You imagine him playing in a team that's got all the possession.
Yeah, it'd be unbelievable. I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, we've seen, I say glimpses. We've seen so much of him, to obviously warrant the fact that he will be. I think he will be a world-class player. If he's not already, I think he will be even better in a better team.
He was world class. He's gone backwards, hasn't he? He was world class. Yeah.
Everyone's gone backwards, mate. The whole squad's gone backwards this season.
It's literally, when they say what positives can you take out of a Lopetegui reign, I mean, there's plenty of negatives. There aren't any positives, but that's one of the negatives. It's like literally every player's got worse. Right, the next one. One of my favourite players to so far, Paqueta Kudus. Third one, guess who? Edison Alvarez. Edison Alvarez, who wishes he'd have gone to Man U to be Ten Hag's favourite player in the summer. That was what was supposed to happen. That was the script, right? It didn't happen. He was bitter about it. I think that's why he was falling out with David Moyes last year. It was trying to make it untenable that he would be able to be kept at West Ham, and then lo and behold, West Ham changed the manager. Moyes leaves, so he's got to start again and piss off the new manager. And that's exactly what he's done, to be fair. And I've got no sympathy for Lopetegui. I think he's incompetent. But I think Alvarez has shown us what a shyster he is, getting himself sent off twice. And flashing his knickers to Atletico Madrid in the summer. Fuck him. That's all I've got to say. I loved him once. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he would be the next, the next captain. Arguably should have been, but now I'm glad he isn't. Right? I'm just not. I've got no time for the bloke whatsoever. This is a guy who last season I was in the Bobby Moore lower. I saw him climb into the crowd. He saw some people with Mexico's flag in amongst the fans. Went and shook their hands and give them a cuddle and everything. I thought, he's a proper player, that geezer. And suddenly, all rules aside, clearly he just thought he could do that because it was little old West Ham, right? Yeah, I hate that. I hate to think that these players who get paid a fucking fortune by us to come and play in this league still look at us as little old West Ham. And the next one on the list, Guido Rodriguez, World Cup winner. Do you know who I fucking am? Rodriguez, who's so slow, he looks like he's running backwards most of the time. He wished he had stayed at Real Betis. You're playing for fucking West Ham in the Premier League, mate. You wish you'd have stayed at Real Betis. Why? Because La Liga's a lot slower. You got a chance of catching someone.
Mate, let's be honest, mate. Right, I know you're on a bit of a rant tonight. Let me just go back.
Ranting, Chris.
Let me just go back. Let me just go back slightly. So let's put Guido Rodriguez to one side for a second. Edson Alvarez. You mentioned that he was purposely trying to cause problems at West Ham towards the back end of last season with Moyes. I don't know if that's strictly true. You know, again, this is us just kind of surmising and guessing, right? But for me, Edson Alvarez, and my understanding is that he had a bust up with Moyes because he did not like the way we were playing, which we would all agree was fucking woeful, right?
Chris, I get
Hold
that.
up now. Let me speak for a second.
Can I? Yeah, go on. Finish.
So I don't necessarily think that he was purposely causing problems actually under Moyes. I actually think that he was still one of our better players under Moyes, right? But then obviously he got outcast in the team at that time when apparently he had a bust up with Moyes behind the scenes. I think it might have been at Fulham or somewhere like
Chelsea.
that.
Was it Chelsea at half time?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll put that to one side. This season, I would agree with you 100%. He's been absolutely horrific in the sense of how he's conducted himself. He's been incredibly unprofessional. Obviously, you know, all these red cards he's been getting. He's absolutely reckless. He's lost his head. Yeah. But you've got to kind of break it down a little bit, Gary, and think, wait a minute. Why is he? I mean, there's no excuse for the reasons why he's made some of those challenges. Let's be honest. There's no excuse. But I must admit, again, Kudus has lost his head as well. Quite a few players have lost their heads. Is it not down to the fact that we're playing a style of football that is absolutely horrific right now? No one understands what the identity is. No one understands what's expected of them. And consequently, they're getting angry and getting pissed off on the pitch. Now, I know they need to be professional. I get that. But I also do think there's an element of Lopetegui absolutely has to be to blame for the demise in these players and how much they've regressed. I know they're professional football players, and I know they're the guys that step over the white line, have got to put the performances in. But, I mean, come on, it's been such a decline in everyone, apart from maybe Souček, right, in terms of existing players. Don't know. I'm not inclined to completely write Alvarez off yet, only off of those 2 red cards, not happy about it. But aside from that, I'm reserving judgment on him for the moment.
I disagree on many counts. Number one, what he did against Chelsea. I know he disagreed with the coach's tactics with Moyes. We all did. Lots of people did. But there were a lot of people who played for Moyes who disagreed with the tactics but still pulled their weight and tried to make them work. And the same goes for Lopetegui. It doesn't really matter if it works or not. What you don't do, in my eyes, is start a fight with. That's what happened basically. He started slagging off Moyes in Spanish, and someone translated for Moyes at half-time against Chelsea, and that was the end of him. But leading up to that, you're right. I mean, he'd brought Calvin Phillips in to literally replace Alvarez. And that's because Alvarez, according to Moyes, was a bit of a liability and gets too many yellow cards. I mean, to be fair to Moyes, he weren't wrong about that. He did get a lot, and this year he's just got even more. He's got no discipline, the geezer. No discipline at all. I don't care personally whether he hates the sight of Lopetegui or not. I don't care if he makes his skin crawl, right? If he's being picked to play in a Lopetegui team, he's got to try to, as one of the leaders in the middle of that team, and he is one of the leaders, he should be anyway. He is one of the people who should be instilling discipline and trying to drive that team and make sure they try at least to deliver what the coach is asking him to deliver. I'm not saying they've even got a chance of doing that, but you've seen it with your own eyes. They go 1 goal behind, they start losing their shit. Now that to me is it's not professional. And what Kudus done was not professional. And I love Kudus, but it was awful, right?
I'm not disagreeing with you in terms of the petulance and how unprofessional that Alvarez has been. I'm not disagreeing with him in the slightest, but I'm not one to write him off just yet because I think there's one hell of a player in there. And I still believe that under the right management, the right coach, the right tactics, the right formation, that he could potentially be a very good player for us, right? That's all I'm saying. So I don't want to write him out and say, get him the fuck out of the club. I think that would be too early to do that. I think there are players, to your point, where we can say, okay, they can piss off. And I think Guido Rodriguez, going back to him now, obviously you spoke about him. If this is true, and he's putting the feelers out there for Real Betis to come back in and take him on loan for the second part of the season, then yeah, of course he can fuck off, right? Because I mean, that for me puts a real sour taste in my mouth that he's doing that, because he's actually had more than enough game time at West Ham this season.
Yeah,
he has. He's been playing games. It's not like he's sat on the bench and he's not getting games, which would make me think if he wasn't playing games, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I need to go back to Betis. He's not. He's playing games and he's not been good enough, is the truth. He's too slow.
This is the worst thing, right? He's been pretty much a first choice for Lopetegui. He showed such faith in him. He's played virtually every game. He started almost every game this season. He's been pretty poor in terms of, I think he's a high-quality footballer underneath it all. I've gave him loads of plaudits and sort of, but I honestly didn't realise he can only do that in games where his pace is not being exposed. Yeah. When he is being exposed, he's slower than me. And that's saying something, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm inclined to agree with you on that. So it wouldn't bother me in the slightest if he left, because in an ideal world, ship him out of the club and bring Potsy back in for the second part of the season. I'd much rather that. Get someone with legs in the middle of the park.
But we're going to get, while these players misbehave and underperform like this, we're going to get a cut price for them. You know, Alvarez, we should have been talking 50 million, right? We're probably looking 30. Kudus, we should have been talking at least 85. What do we get in his current state? Do we still get the 85? I don't know. Rodriguez, what the fuck do we get for him? 30 bob?
Well, we got him for free, so I don't really care about him, if I'm being honest with you. I think with regards to Kudus, his buyout clause is 85 million anyway. So we're always going to get him, obviously get that for him, bare minimum.
That is true. That is true.
So, yeah.
So, and there's going to be plenty of demand for him as well. Everyone knows how good he is. And finally, the complete waste of space. German international Nicholas Füllkrug, who came across and in his first interview said the fans can look forward to a wholehearted, totally committed player who always gives it his all and never gives up. I've always had a relationship with the fans. They've always loved me and the way and my work ethic. Only the fucker never comes to work, does he?
Okay, yeah, you're right. He is obviously injured. Yeah. So I think in that regard, yes, it's frustrating because we wanted to sign someone that would actually be physically fit enough to play games for us.
Yeah.
But he's not. So put the injury to one side. It's what that's come out obviously over the course of the last week or so in relation to him wanting to leave and not being settled. That for me is bang out of order, right? The guy has not even barely played. Well, he hasn't even played a full game for us yet. Do you know what I mean? He's made a couple of sub appearances, and I think he started one game and he got hooked, didn't he? I think at half time, if memory serves me right. That one actually annoys me more than all of them put together, because he owes it to the club. He owes it to the club and he owes it to the fans. Okay. To go out there when he comes back fit again is to give it his all. If he wants to piss off at the end of the season, then fair enough. But for us fans, let's at least see him come out there and put in some performances to show that he did come here for a reason, that he does care, that he does want to basically prove why we shelled out whatever it was, undisclosed, 23, 27, what it was, £1 million. We'll never know.
It was Sean Whetstone said 23.5 today. I think he's on damage limitation because his transfer market value at the moment is 12.
Yeah. Well, 12. on current form, he ain't even worth that.
I know. Well, he's worth something for spare parts, I suppose, but I don't know what parts you can use because his knees are fucked.
It's such a shame, and I know we spoke about this before because he obviously had injuries earlier on in his career. I think it's only over the course of the last couple of seasons where he's maintained some form of consistency in terms of being fit. But let's not forget, he was primarily coming off the bench. He was more of an impact player. So he's not been starting and finishing games for a full season for a long, long time, mate. He hasn't. So this is Marco Buga's version 2, mate.
How bad is it, Chris? How bad is it that a player who's not even had a run in the first team yet, doesn't even know whether he can play in the Premier League or not? Yeah. He's literally had a bit part against Crystal Palace. I think he started the League Cup game, didn't he, against Bournemouth, which was bad. But other than that, sorry, people in the chat. We'll come to the rats in the boardroom afterwards. I mean, they're not just in the dressing room; they're in the boardroom as well. Bigger rats, much bigger, uglier rats. Yeah. So, to do that, to ask for a transfer and say, "Oh, I'm not settled in London," he's literally been here a couple of months. The geezer hasn't given it a go. So, what is this? Is this some sort of scam to get a decent signing on fee from us, and then maybe his last little payday when he moves somewhere else back into Germany? Was this just a little ruse by him to get some money out of the Premier League? Same as Rodriguez. Is that why he moved here? It would have been much easier for him to just stay in fucking Betis, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been. I mean, the Füllkrug one just stinks to me. I mean, we talk about Edson Alvarez being unprofessional, but do you know what? At least he's actually stepped foot on a pitch. Füllkrug's barely done anything, and yet he wants to leave. I'm sorry, it stinks a bit like a Boogers or a Javier Margas situation. Do you know what I mean? Like back in the day, they just wanted to go home. He's only from Germany.
Hang on, no, Boogers. You can't put Boogers and Margas in the same. Margas had claret hair by the time he left.
Yeah, then he fucked off, didn't he? Jumped out the Swallow hotel room, pissed off.
Oh, yeah, didn't he? Actually, yeah. So, So look, there are a couple of other players I'd like to bring into this. These are not scumbags. These are not rats, right? But these are players who have all been either asked to leave or demanded to leave or whatever within the last 12 months. Soufal, it was within the last week. He's saying, if I don't get a first team place soon, I want out, right? Now, I don't really have any sympathy for that because why should you, Soufal? We're paying your wages. You're getting older. You're not guaranteed a first place at West Ham in the Premier League at your age. What, so are we not allowed to have any half decent backup players now?
I think that, do you know what? I disagree with you on this one. I do, because Soufal is 32 years of old, so he's not finished, right? He's not finished. I know for us he's probably finished because he's not on the level he was, say, 3 seasons ago, as an example. So that granted, he's not good enough for us, but he would certainly be good enough for some of the lesser Premier League teams. Okay, I don't think he's, trying to eye up a move to a big club, because it's not going to happen. And I don't think equally he's going to eye up a move to like a championship level club either.
What's he realistically going to get though, Chris? What, a team in the lower reaches of the French league or something? Surely he's better to play for West Ham in the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah, he's 32.
He loves, apparently.
Yeah, but if he's 32 and he ain't playing games, you only get one career, right? So he's going to want to maximise the amount of time he's got left in his career. So I can understand, honestly, why he might be saying, well, if I'm not getting any games, I'm sat on a bench.
Won't be He could get injured next week. He could get injured next week. And
he might not. Yeah, but he might not get injured though.
Yeah, but sometimes you're not first choice, right? Sometimes you're not first choice. Especially when you're 32.
Yeah, but okay, if you're a 32-year-old football player and you still feel you've got, load of gas in the engine, you want to still play, Gal, what are you going to do? Just sit on the bench and wait for a potential injury that may not ever happen? Or are you just going to see your career away, right? That's what you're essentially going to do, aren't you?
No, it's going to happen at some point, because our defenders always get injured. They do, right? It's going to happen.
Yeah, but I for Soufal, I just think he wants to play games, mate, and I don't begrudge him at that. I don't begrudge him at all. If you're talking about a youngster that's backing someone up at fullback and he says, I want to piss off because I'm not playing, I'm like, no, do you know what? Yeah. Earn the right, get into the team, play some games, right? Whatever. So maybe we need to be looking at a younger type of understudy as opposed to like a 32 or a 35-year-old at left back in Creswell, or a 32-year-old in Soufal. So I do actually understand why Soufal may want to leave, because he wants to make the most of his career and play games, because once his career is done, he can't take that time back. As opposed to, you've got money-grabbing bastards that want to sit on a bench and take 125 grand a week. Well, you would rather them stay at the club, would you? Do you know what I mean? This is the thing. Danny Ings being a prime example.
Yeah, no, that's right. He refused moves to Southampton and everything else, didn't he?
He's a cash cow for him, that's why.
Next one, Mikel Antonio. Now, I'm going to let Mickey off, right? Because he's had mental health problems, he's had marriage problems and stuff like that. I'm going to let him off because he wanted one last payday. I think he's got one last payday by staying here. I haven't actually heard him demanding to leave since, but he did demand to. He was trying to orchestrate a move last summer, but that might have been in the middle of his divorce. So we gloss over Mickey, let him off, right? Cresswell definitely demanded and stamped his feet. He wanted the move to Wolves.
But again, he wasn't getting much game time, Gal.
But he is finished, right? You can't be a first choice in anyone's team.
We believe he's finished, right? We believe that he's finished. He, as a player, believes that he wasn't finished 2 seasons ago when he had that opportunity to go to Wolves. So again, you've got to look at it objectively as opposed to looking at it from a supporter's perspective, being a West Ham, fan's perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to get game time. And maybe when he was touted by Wolves, that Lopetegui at the time says, you know what, Creswell, you're going to get in my first 11. So he's probably thinking, right, okay, I'll leave. You don't know that. We don't know these things. So I'm not going to bin off Cresswell either, because look, he's been a great player for us. He's been a long player. He's been a great servant to West Ham. So look, I understand why he may have wanted to go 2 seasons, well, a season after, whatever it was, 2 seasons ago, because he wasn't getting loads of games.
Listen, I don't mind Cresswell. I'm quite half-hearted about saying these, but there's one more. And that is Emerson, who was looking for a move back to his native Italy last year. Right, when things were not going so well with David Moyes, it seems like a common time when these players come out and go, "Not my fault. I want to go over there instead."
Yeah, I think that the Emerson one's interesting because that was during the summer, wasn't it? That he was making some noises about going back to Italy
during the season as well.
Yeah, okay, but maybe again, I'm trying to
gold monster, very nice.
Is that supercharged or something?
Ultra golden pineapple.
That sounds so healthy.
Normal pineapple. It's not golden pineapple. It's ultra golden pineapple. Ultra golden. Yeah.
This is why you're on it tonight, isn't it? This is why you're energized about all of these bastards that want to leave our club.
I am fucking energized. That's right.
No, Emerson's is an interesting one because, look, I think, irrespective of the fact that he may have made some noises about going to Italy, that players do this shit all the time. Sometimes it gets out, out in the media. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So. He's always put in a shift for us, though, Gal. He has.
Yeah, I know.
And so I know he's not been as good as he has been previously. But again, I think you're being a bit harsh on Emerson. I think.
I don't know, Chris. I think you're being a bit harsh on me, saying I'm being harsh on Emerson. I think
you're on one, mate. Have you had a bad weekend or something, mate? What's going on with you?
I've had a great weekend. I've had a great weekend. Loved it. Right. So it leaves us with only a handful of very, very loyal, unquestionable loyalty for this group of players. And this wouldn't be a bad first team, actually. Somerville, Ings, Bowen, Soler, Souček, Fabs, Areola, Todibo, Dinos, Kilman, Irving. I think that's 12 rather than 11, but we're allowed 12 because we're so shit.
Right. Yeah, we should be allowed an extra player, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should. We should. You got 3 centre halves, all really, really happy, fighting for 2 places. Todibo, Dinos, Kilman. Neither of them are mentioned moving. Irving definitely ain't mentioned moving. He could be like the backup. It could either be him or Soler alongside Souček in the middle. Both very, very loyal. All 3 of them very, very loyal. Fabs in goal, obviously very loyal. Areola on the bench, watching Fabs, very loyal. Bowen on the right, Somerville on the left. Danny Ings up front. Danny Ings superstar up front. It's a decent team.
No, stop. Right, stop.
What?
Some of those players are loyal. Yes, absolutely. Okay, yeah, really loyal. Do you know, there's no fucking loyalty in football. Like, honestly, I don't know what's going on tonight. There's no loyalty in football nowadays. It's very rare. It's very rare that you have loyalty. No, it's very rare that you have loyalty, mate. Danny Ings, I know. Right? Look, Danny Ings, okay, he actually has been our most effective striker based on the amount of minutes he's played for us this season than any other striker we've had playing this season. Okay, he has been.
Yeah.
So I've got a bit of a soft spot for him in the sense that I feel that maybe he actually warrants and deserves some game time. I've said it previously on previous shows, right? However, let's not get this twisted. He is on 125 grand a week and he's sitting on the fucking bench. He was offered the opportunity to go to Southampton. I think Forest were looking at him as well. And that would have been a decrease in his salary. With that in mind, thanks, Danny. Thanks, Ingsy, for staying at West Ham. It must be really hard for you to sit on that bench and on 125 grand a week. No, I'm not having it. He's not loyal, Gal. He's loyal to his fucking bank balance, mate. That's what it all comes down to. That's what it comes down to.
Right. Anyway, look, we've done that section. In a minute, we're going to go and talk about, by the way, Will Prowse never asked to leave. He was loyal. Cornet did ask to leave, not loyal. He's still shit, by the way. He's still shit.
I'm questioning your loyalty tonight.
I know. Right, so before we move on to the misery fest of the of Sullivan, very brief Sullivan update. Talk about what we think he's up to. What's going through that little Russian hat wearing head of his. We'll find out, and then we're going to go through the new manager odds because there's a lot of people on that list, and let me tell you, some of them I quite like, some of them I fucking hate. I've got to say. So let's go through some comments. You go through some comments. I've starred 80 of them, so let's just go through quickly. So
just a real quick one before you do that, Gal.
Yeah.
So can I just put this one up here, right? So from Obsidian, right? No, Chris, we offer to cover Ings's wages.
Oh, you see, loyal. I was right.
Hold up. Is that absolutely factual? Do we know that, or is that just something that's been put out in the press? We don't know that for sure.
Obsidian curse is never wrong, Chris. Did you know that?
I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if that was the case, then maybe there is an argument that says, okay, but
so
maybe
you're rowing back then. You're rowing back.
No, I'm not going back because maybe he's just settled at West Ham. He's settled in London. Okay, he's settled on the bench and he's settled with 125 grand a week of doing sweet FA. Maybe that's the case.
You've slammed it in reverse. And
I've said before, he has been our most effective striker based on minutes he's played this season. Arguably, he has been. In fact, I saw a stat the other day that he was right up there in the top 3 in the Premier League. Not that it says much, but it's based on minutes played. So I get that. And like I said, I do have a bit of a soft spot for him, but I don't necessarily think that he's so loyal to West Ham. No, fuck off. No, he's not. Anyway, that was my little rant about Ings.
He's one of the loyal 12. Don't you worry about that. So we got the only way Caduce leaves in Jan is 85 mil. Yep, you're right. Absolutely. Guido and Full Crew not active. Yep, we discussed that. Fabs didn't ask to leave. I don't think he did. But when we come to talk about the managers, one of the important things you got to remember is with some of the managers that we're thinking of bringing in, they do need a ball playing keeper, and we do not have one. We do not have a ball playing keeper.
Right? That's just true.
So Fabs is history anyway.
Maybe stick Guido in goal then, Gal. You know, maybe put Guido in goal.
Yeah. I think he could do a job. Soler played in every position. Probably played in goal for PSG as well. Who knows? If Sullivan got as a good progressive manager, we'll come to that. Fulkrug hasn't settled because Lopetegui didn't play him. Well, yeah, kind of true. He was only fit for about 3 games. Before he got injured for Germany. It's tragic to someone like Paqueta. Yes, it is tragic. But at the same time, if he's guilty of what he's being accused of, then thank you. So long and thanks for all the fish in it. See you later. And if we can get 5 million for him, because I honestly think we're going to end up getting bugger all for him. And we're going to end up suing the player. And I'd rather avoid that circus. Send him back to Brazil with best wishes. Go on, off you go.
It's going to get ugly.
Tony Sullivan would sell up. Yes, if only. If only he would. Botcha. Can't drop Paqueta, Gary. Yeah, of course you can. You had a low at the end there, Gary. I know you did. I saw that. Aren't all pro footballers mercenaries? Yeah, they are. They are in that they want to earn what they're worth, whereas others will literally auction themselves off to the highest price. For instance, we're paying Bowen a small fortune, but he's not looking to earn more at Liverpool, which is where he could have easily earned more last season, right? He could have. So different moral codes for different ethical codes for different players. So if the fans, this is Steve Sorrell, if the fans go to all the games, want change, why don't they stop going? Well, the thing is, you've got a couple of options if you don't want to go. Number one, you don't go and they start counting how many games you ain't gone to. Hopefully they can rescind your season ticket and sell it to someone else. Or you can sell your ticket back to the club, or you can transfer it on to someone else. If you sell it back to the club, someone's going to take your place in your seat, which is what they'll do if you give up your season ticket. West Ham is a very, very well-supported club, Steve. Don't be under any illusions of that. We ain't the only ones. The club is supposedly saying we'll now look into the Championship for players. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, Steve. What's wrong with that? That's where we got Bowen. That's where we got Somerville. That's where we got Antonio. There's good pickings to be had in the Premier League. You know, this player called Potts, for instance, he's doing very well in Championship. Might want to go and put a bid in for him. Oh, no, we already own him. Obsidian Curse. I wouldn't mind the Championship. I don't mind getting relegated, honestly. I don't want to, but I don't mind it. I'd embrace it. In that stadium, that would be a bit bad. Fulkrug hasn't settled because he's injured and can't play or prove himself.
Oh, the chance to. Like, this is the thing. He will come back fit at some point. So he's already writing off the fact that when he comes back, he's not willing to give himself a chance.
That is the point, Chris. He's not willing to fight and battle for his chance. He thought he was going to walk into this first team and we'd all be praising at the feet, because it's little old West Ham again. We'd all be praising at the feet of the great Nicholas Fulkrug. Well, he's wrong. Imagine if Kudus went to Arsenal. No, Steve, don't even think about it. It ain't going to happen. If he goes there, he's not going to have any trophies on his CV, just like Declan Rice, who still has only won the Conference League. I hope when he leaves Arsenal eventually, that's still the only trophy.
Hey, hold up. He won the Charity Shield, mate. He won that little plate, so, give him some
credit. Yeah, because he was, yeah. I do think Saudi would hurt his international career. Kudus, that is. No, I don't think so. I think this is a good chat for manager Lee Castley. That'd go down well with Jared Bowen, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Please tell me that's a joke. Because, actually, I was watching the game tonight. And one of the commentators said that apparently Carsley should be getting some interest, or he's getting some interest from some other teams now. And I was thinking, please not let it be West Ham, because, again, that would just be sort of appointment we'd be linked with, wouldn't it, really?
Razor says, behave, lads. Arsenal, Liverpool, Arsenal, Kudus, he goes to Real or Barca. Look, I think he'll end up there. He'll end up at one of the big giant clubs and he'll be he will be pulling up trees every week. He will. He's that good. I don't think anyone's in doubt of the talent of Kudus. Alvarez has got himself sent off on purpose twice. Got away with an additional 2-game ban because one of them happened to be in the EFL trophy and one was in the Premier League, not two in the Premier League. Got to stop indulging Paqueta. He's been stinking the place out for far too long by his own idiocy and greed. If he's guilty, you're absolutely bang on.
Andrew. Yeah, just quickly, right? Thinking about, just pause it with these comments for a second, right? When you talk about Edson Alvarez and look, he's got himself sent off, going back to that previous comment a couple of times, and it seems as though he's done that on purpose. Not that I'm trying to make comparisons here, because I'm not. I just want to put that kind of caveat and disclaimer out there right now. But look at Julian Dix. How many red cards at the time were we pissed off that he used to get? Because it was almost like, did you do that on purpose, Dixie? Right? But Chris, I'm not comparing players here. But all I'm saying is, I'm not willing to write Alvarez off yet, because I still feel that he has got something to give. Okay, that's all I'm saying here. And I think we can't just write him off the fact that he's been petulant over getting those 2 red cards. I think we need to give him, hopefully, the benefit of the doubt, and he'll turn it around. And I hope I'm proven right here. I'll be gutted if I'm proven wrong, right? That's the thing. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. Forest Gate lad. They should all go together and smash Sullivan's door down, turn to get the so-called manager out of the club. Honestly, Sullivan's a law unto himself. We're going to come to him in a minute. He don't really care what we think. In fact, don't really care. Doesn't care at all what we think. Not at all. Not one little bit. So, right, let's go back to live. Let's move on to section 2 of the show. Section 2 of the show is David Sullivan. What the fuck is he up to?
Oh, it's all
What do you
positive
think he's up
today,
to
isn't it?
today? What do you think he's up to today, Chris? What do you think he's doing tonight, Sullivan?
I reckon
in his
he's-
mansion.
I reckon he's smashing his porn star bird, or whatever it is.
I reckon he is. I reckon he's. I mean, little David's doing the business tonight, don't you think?
Oh,
And
I don't even know.
Yeah, I think
I don't care what he's doing tonight. I'll tell you, whatever he's doing, it's probably not West Ham. Well, it's never West Ham related, is it? He's probably not even thinking about us fans that are suffering right now and upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry for any ladies in the chat, but Sullivan's probably done all that, and he's walking around with his commando with his silk kimono on now, with a big long cigar. That's probably
like a midget Hugh Hefner. Yeah,
that's right. A mini, yeah. As he looks up to the wall and he sees a picture of him holding aloft the Conference League trophy, dressed in West Ham kit, superimposed his head over Declan Rice's. Right, that's what I think. So yeah, I'm sorry, Claire. I really didn't mean it. I had to go there. Anyway, look, what I think he's doing is he's basically scheming how he can get the next manager out and who that next manager is going to be. This Lopetegui's gone. He's been a dead man walking for a week. We know he's shot now. We know he's going to lose the next 2 games. So does Sullivan. Everyone knows it. Some vague warning came out a few days ago about, if we lose really heavily to Arsenal and Newcastle, it'd be for it. It'd be for the high jump. No, it don't matter about that. Everyone knows this is out of control. You've seen already. The players are running riot. There's no discipline in the squad. They don't understand the tactics. This geezer's a busted flush. He's incompetent, and he should be fired for that incompetence. I think probably they want to. I'm guessing here. I think probably they want to pay him as little as possible to get rid of him. And I do think he's on a performance-based contract as a coach. And I think there are certain thresholds that he needs to drop to in order for them to fire him for virtually bugger all. I personally think that's if they drop into the bottom 3. I mean, I don't know that, but that was the rumour. That was one of the thresholds that they build into these things. So I think the minute we drop into the bottom 3, he's out of there. But if you look at the fixtures, a lot of the teams below us have got hard games as well. So I don't think we're dropping into the bottom 3 until maybe the Wolves and Leicester games, which is why my personal feeling is he's going to go after those.
Yeah.
Right. But he's going. Be under no illusions, he's going. This is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. And he is sitting on his hands, giving votes of confidence out like they're going out of fashion. He's, putting out through his mouthpieces in the press, putting out little statements going, yeah, we're behind the manager, but, the fans are getting restless. No, they got restless. We are restless. We know it's shit. Stop gaslighting us. It would be better at the moment, I think, for him to just put Noble in charge until he finds a new manager. But I do actually think he's already decided who the new manager is. It's just a matter of damage limitation, money-wise. That's what I think. As for who that new manager will be, Chris,
Don't even say it. No,
look, I don't honestly think. I've been talked out of it being David Moyes now. Right, I'm going to stop mentioning it. I've been talked out of that. If that comes back to bite me in the arse for getting that idea, ruling it out, remember this moment when you all made me rule it out, right? But I'll never mention it again. Right. So let's draw a line under the David Moyes. Funny we could do that last year. I'm gonna bring up now the latest betting odds for new West Ham manager. If I can find it. 1 second. So here we go. So we're going to disappear for a second. I don't know if this. No. Right. Okay. So we'll discuss these. Chris, we've temporarily disappeared, but we've got Graham Potter up the top, and I'm going to talk about him specifically in a minute because he is a favourite. Edin Terzic, the ex-Slaven Bilic coach, pragmatist. Gareth Southgate, pragmatist. Eric Ten Hag, nightmare. Carlos Sorbrandt, who the bloody hell's that? Sorbet? Carlos Sorbet, who's that?
West Brom manager.
Is he? Right. Brendan Rodgers. I wouldn't mind Brendan Rodgers, I've got to be honest. Apart from he used to have a life-size picture of himself, a portrait in the entrance of his mansion. And I know you're prone to one of them as well, Chris, so I know you'd be fine with that.
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
I don't know who Jetil Knutson is. Do you?
Oh, he's brilliant. I can't believe you don't even know who he is.
Who the bloody hell is he?
He is the leader, the manager of Bodo Glimt.
Who? Blimp?
Bodo Glimt. He's the Norwegian football coach that manages Bodo Glimt.
What are they, like in the third tier of Norwegian football or something?
Doesn't matter, mate. He's a legend. We're going to hire him.
So it's Kjetil Knudsen, yeah. Sergio
Where do we get
Conceição.
these players from? Honestly, how are we? So going back to this Knudsen guy, just to clarify, I've never even heard of this guy. I've just gone onto Wikipedia to look at him. So he's managed 299 games for Bodo Glimt since 2018, and he's 176, drawn 65, lost 58. So he's got a decent win ratio. It's around about 58.
What, in the
58.
Norwegian league, Chris?
Yeah, look, hold up a minute. I'm not saying he's the guy.
You're recommending him, right? You are.
I'm endorsing this guy. He is the chosen one. So hold up a minute. In 2021, he led Bodo to the first group stage in Europe, where his outfit became the first team in history to score 6 times against Jose Mourinho when they beat Roma 6-1.
So he's a free scoring progressive football manager.
In Norway. Mate, honestly, you couldn't make this up, could you? Some of these names. I mean, flipping hell. Bodo Glimt. How the hell's he linked to that?
I don't know. Sergio Conceição, who we all know good things about. Fucking hell, I wish I had a sound effect for this. Rafa Benitez.
Not happening.
Dear God. Jose Mourinho. Oh my God. He would last. Mourinho would last 10 minutes before we started hating him. Rafa Benitez would hate him before he started. Michael Carrick, I'd obviously give him a chance because he's still done all right. He's done all right with Middlesbrough. And obviously Mark Noble, to me, nothing but a caretaker, temporary manager. He's not ready to manage a football team. So we rule him out. There's a couple missing from there. Apparently, Alan Pardew's 25-1, according to Gary Brock. I think he's run that race already.
He put it out there, didn't he?
Yeah,
he put it out there. He said he would like to take over at West Ham. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And what else? He had a heart attack already then, Benitez. He can't come here. It's bad for his health. And then there's one missing from this. There's one missing from this list before we put ourselves back on screen, and that is Ruud van Nistelrooy. Right. So let's discuss a couple of those. I mean, we've got Graham Potter. I've got a few things to say about him. Edin Terzic. I have not much to say about him. Pragmatist. Gareth Southgate. It's Gareth Moyes. You know what I think of Gareth Moyes. You know, Brendan Rodgers, I think, would be good. Conceição would be very good. Michael Carrick, I'd be willing to have a gamble on. Other than that, this is a shit list.
It is.
Any ones that you could pick?
Well, again, I mean, you might as well wipe off, numbers 4 right down to the bottom, because I don't see any one of those happening. Eric Ten Hag right down to Noble. The only one that potentially I would be, honestly, pretty much okay with would probably be Michael Carrick, because he's ex-West Ham. He plays. I've seen Middlesbrough play a couple of times, not many. I don't dislike him. I think he'd be an all right choice. But yeah, I think it would just be that top 3. I can't see one outside of that.
What we do
is,
right?
What happened to De Zerbi? Is he completely out of frame now?
He costs money. That's a list of people that don't cost anything.
Oh, okay. So that's the fucking free transfer list, basically.
Well, that's all we're going to get. That's all we're going to get. We could have applied another filter, how old they are, because he won't go for anybody below about 55.
See, that it annoys me that there are no other managers on that list that are in the running there, right? Bookies don't think that we could potentially, hire.
I'm gonna for this half, Chris. For this, well, not half. Last few minutes of the show, I'm gonna put the comments up as we go, because we just ain't gonna have time at the end. But we won't discuss the comments unless there's something really controversial to discuss. Black Country, you're too hard to please, right? So and also Ruud van Nistelrooy. My only comment on him is that he actually did pretty well at PSV in terms of bringing on players, developing players, but he is a real problem when it comes to executive boards. And he's divisive as a character as well. And we know what divisive managers bring, right? They bring heartache and disappointment. So no. So yeah, that's it. Let's talk about Graham Potter. Now, Graham Potter, I've taken the piss out of him previously. Called him Harry Potter, done all this, right? But I did actually listen to quite a good analysis of his career the other day. And it reminded me of a few strong points, a few good points of Graham Potter. I mean, firstly, it's something that I've said previously already, and that is he's used to playing in the director of football system. He's used to and an owner and a director of football buying players for him that he then has to use. Now, we need a manager with that mindset. We cannot have managers like Moyes and Lopetegui anymore. We cannot, because they're not good enough. They will come in and demand their own players, and they will spurn all the players that the director of football buys. That's why Somerville has ended up getting into the team lately, just because we've had a load of injuries. Otherwise, the guy wouldn't get a game. Same with Tadibo. He's only gone in by default as well because we were so crap, and he thought he might be able to turn it around. That is not good enough. But I also remind you, and this is something that I remember because I remember watching him do it to Moyes several times. He made so much the best use of his available resources at Brighton. He did such a fantastic job in terms of different tactical approaches for different teams. And he's also capable of being very agile and changing games midstream to hurt the opposition, which is what he done to us several times, right? This is a good progressive manager who probably, until he failed at Chelsea, we didn't have a chance to get in. He was focused on the top table, right? And when you look at his record at Chelsea, that everyone says he was shit, no, he was actually shit in Chelsea terms. They want to be challenging for the title, but it actually wasn't that bad. And also his career before Brighton at Swansea, excellent as well. So what I'm saying is I support the Potter appointment. Yeah.
My thoughts on Potter, right? So I would agree with you. So again, going back to his stint at Chelsea, I think he found himself in a real diabolical situation. It was never a win-win situation for him at all. It was kind of a lose-lose because I don't think he had so many players in that squad. I mean, so many. It would be hard for any manager to try and deal with that. And, it really would be. So I think it was a really difficult situation for him to be in. But here's the interesting thing, right? So you're saying that he's well versed as he was when he was coaching at Brighton, in that director of football model. Who's to say that we're even going to have that fucking model going into next season with Stein potentially going, right? Which could happen. So is he the sort of manager that can manage and coach without a director of football? There's a question for you, because actually we might not have that in place going into next season.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We might not. And this really depends if how much power. Well, firstly, does Stein want out? Does he want to go Arsenal? Is it him flashing his knickers at Arsenal, or is someone else lifting up his skirt, flashing his knickers at Arsenal? Because I think it's the latter, to be honest. I don't think he's trying to leave at all. I think he's Krasitsky's man, and I think he's come here for a project. It's not going very well, but I think he's come here for a project. Well, all this stuff about Lampard, by the way, can I just say Lampard? I don't mind Lampard. I had a little chat with him in the pub. Perfectly pleasant guy. Doesn't come across as someone that has the presence to manage huge egos. When he managed Derby, he had the biggest transfer budget by a fucking mile in the Championship and failed to get him promoted. He failed there, right? Yeah, he did well, but he did well as in nearly got him promoted. He didn't really do well, did he? So I think he's Lampard's just a waste of space. He was rubbish at Chelsea. It was rubbish in every appointment he's had. He's very similar to Steven Gerrard. He's got appointments based on his profile, his big name, not through his talent. So yeah, and I think so. What do you reckon? I mean, let's go through a few of them and give them the thumbs up or the thumbs down. I mean, let me know in the comments whether you'd favour. I'm personally going to give Potter a thumbs up. Chris, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll give him a thumbs up, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, it's the best of a bad bunch, isn't it? Let's be honest. So of course he gets a thumbs up.
Yeah. Let us know, you lot in the chat. We're going to go and let us know whether you would accept Harry Potter or not. Get a thumbs down from Damien. Yeah.
Bearing in mind to the chat here, we're talking about replacing Lopetegui. So, I mean, look, I've got other preferred options than Potter. Of course there are, like the Serbi, for instance. But realistically, we can't go out and get these types of managers. That is the list that we've got. So if that is the definitive list of managers that maybe we could actually hire someone from, why would Potter not get the thumbs up? Because who else are you going to put the thumbs up to if it's not him?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm also factoring in who I think Sullivan might go for, right? And Sullivan is not going for your dream appointment. Whoever you think he should be going to get, he ain't going to get him.
Yeah.
Right? He is more likely to go for Potter for another reason as well, because as we read in one of the articles this week, Sullivan is going to be taking more of a controlling interest in transfers. Surprise, surprise. got to make sure that that revenue stream keeps coming in. So he's going to be doing that. He's going to be taking more of a hands-on involvement. So I expect to see many more Salthouse signings, right? He will want a manager who doesn't push back on that. He will want a manager who makes his dreams possible, right? Who will use the people that he signs, the cut price Waterhouse specials. That's Waterhouse. It wasn't Waterhouse, was it? It was Salthouse. Hold on.
Shitehouse.
I'm trying to multitask. You can see what this does to me.
Shitehouse.
Any worse than Loppy. Got a thumbs down. Got a few thumbs down, a few thumbs up so far. Pot a big fat no. Black Country. He's Black Country ain't making around tonight, is he? Allegri's free. Yeah, but he ain't looking at him. He ain't looking at Allegri. Not a chance. It's like, De Zerbi wouldn't cost much. He ain't bloody paying for him. It's like the perfect signing to me. If I was to have my choice of manager at the moment, I wouldn't go for the exotic, right? I would go across London to Fulham and steal Marco Silva. That would be my dream manager, right? My dream manager. This is all about who I'd settle for. If you are not going to be happy unless you get perfection, exactly.
Or Thomas Frank. I'll take
given
Thomas
those
Frank
choices.
well, mate.
I'll take him in a heartbeat. Absolutely. But I'm just saying we ain't going to get them because he needs to pay for Thomas Frank. Brentford will have him over a barrel, Sullivan. It'll be compensation city. They work these things out. And also Fulham as well. The Bournemouth guy, having again in a heartbeat, but we'd have to pay Bournemouth. We'd have to pay Bournemouth for his services, right? It is not going to happen. So please set your expectations on who it could reasonably be. And in my mind, there are only really 3 candidates for this job. Four candidates for this job. It's Potter, it's Terzic, it's Gareth Moyes, and it is Rafa Benitez.
No, Rafa Benitez is not an option, mate. What are you talking about?
Brady and Sullivan love Rafa Benitez, and no one's ever too old to manage at West Ham United. You know that.
He's done. He is done. He's not even on the radar, mate.
Listen, you've convinced me to rule out David Moyes. That's fine.
You replaced him with Benitez?
I've replaced him. With Benitez. He's replaced him on my list. There's got to be an old duffer on the list. There's got to be, right?
No.
West Ham fans wanted Potter. You're right, Claire. We did want Potter. Before he went to Chelsea, we'd love Potter. He played beautiful football. He done all this and he went to Chelsea, where he was bought all these players by the mad American. He had so many players, they didn't have seating space in the dressing room. They were all on 10-year contracts. They didn't have any, really didn't have to do what even the manager wanted. The manager just didn't, because the manager, I suppose, he wasn't a top footballer himself. He hasn't got that background. Like Mourinho wasn't a top footballer. Wenger wasn't a top footballer, right? Shouldn't matter. But apparently at Chelsea, it does matter. And it ended up being a bit of a piss take for him. Arsenal are supposedly interested in Simon Rolfs to take over from Edu. Yeah, I don't believe they're interested in Snyton, honestly. Yes, well done, Tommy. You're on board. Keeping it realistic, Damien. Gary, overlap me any day. This is a thing. We're in one of a hole here. We're in a massive hole. And if Potter can get his career back on track and turn into the manager that he was before he had an average spell, it wasn't a disaster, an average spell. He wasn't Lampard, right, at Chelsea, then we could end up with another top England manager, probably the next England manager after the German wins the World Cup with 3 West Ham players. Yeah. So we're getting plenty of thumbs up now. I think the tide has turned on Potter. So I'm going to call that an emphatic 80% in favour. That's totally unscientific, by the way. Also, Silva, Damien, you just lost all credibility. All credibility.
David Moyes.
Yeah. Don't listen to Damien anymore. Right. Damien also, he loves his pragmatist. Damien, he's also gone for Terzic. Terzic is just a younger version of David Moyes. He's, he's had some big name jobs and stuff like that. He's been a coach here, so he's well liked around the place, nice guy and all that. But no. See, Ian, Silva for me, pay Fulham what they want. That is a dead cert. Paying that money is going to be, that is an investment in West Ham's future. You know that. We all know that. Would Sullivan do that? No. And Jason Cundy said he'd come in a heartbeat. Right? I am not including Moyes. I've ruled out Moyes. We're not listening.
Gary. Jason Cundy talks out of his arse. I wouldn't listen to anything that he comes out with, seriously.
I know. You know him. But I quite like him. He's quite entertaining, actually. He's not as annoying as the others on TalkSport.
him and O'Hara just do my nutting. Honestly, I can't.
That's quite a funny show, though. Isn't it? It's quite a funny show.
Not for me anymore. I'm sick and tired of absolute nonsense.
Well, they have been pushing for Thingy to come back, and he shall not be mentioned, right?
Oh, your favourite.
Yeah. So, what do you think of Terzic anyway? What's your opinion? Give us your votes on Terzic in the chat.
Do you know, Terzic is a funny one because a lot of people are dead against him because of this so-called pragmatic style of football that he's been playing at Dortmund. But you know what? He's also got a really good track record. You know, in terms of his win ratio, yeah, of course he's managing Dortmund. He's got some good players there, but you can't ignore that. You know, I'm looking at his stats here, right? So over 124 games played, he's won 83. He's got a 67% win ratio. That's incredible. I mean, that is one hell of a high win ratio. Okay. So pragmatism aside, because we're fucking used to that, I wouldn't mind getting a few wins on the board either, right? So if he were to come in and he was an option and he'd actually get some wins, then why should we avoid him as a possibility? Why?
But isn't that for Dortmund?
It is for Dortmund. But
well,
Dortmund
the usual win ratio is probably about 80%. It's probably inferior to what it usually is.
But he also did he not get Dortmund into the final of the Champions League though, Gal? Did he not beat PSG in the semi-finals? So it's not like this guy hasn't got any credibility. I think he has. And also, from what I understand, when he was under Bilic, you know, in his previous spell at West Ham, he was incredibly well liked. I understand that he's also a very good man manager as well. Okay, so maybe having that kind of, you know, like Bilic had.
Fulkrug hates him. Fulkrug hates him.
Yeah, but Fulkrug hates West Ham, mate. So Fulkrug off, you know. But if you look at Terzic, right? Also, if he's got that type of mentality that Bilic had, because Bilic was all kind of almost like he treated his players like brothers, right? You know, when he was in the 2015-16 season, whatever, right? I really missed that. I missed that. You know, that kind of, I love that type of management and leadership. I do. I'm not saying Terzic is the answer. I'm not, because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So I don't really have an opinion. So yeah, we should definitely go for him. But I also can't say unequivocally, no, we shouldn't get him either, because he could be. He might be an option. I don't know about this pragmatic style of football. I don't know. But all I know is he's got a good record. That's it.
Epic has written the headline that will be used. Edin Terzic. Oh. I'm just saying. Silver.
Terzic.
You know it's coming, right? You know it's coming. Talk shite advertising for Fat Frank. Of course they are. They want to laugh, don't they? It's an entertainment show. What better than to have angry West Ham fans going, get Fat Frank out of here? We start every game. It wouldn't be Bubbles. It would be Big Fat Frank, would it? Fucking hell. Oh, can you imagine? There'd be anarchy at West Ham if Frank Lampard was announced as the new West Ham manager. Again, he's a nice bloke. He's not a big enough character to manage West Ham, let alone Chelsea. He really ain't. Outside about Scott Parker, yeah, I wouldn't say no. I quite like him, but ain't he likely to fall out with Sullivan big time? You know, because you do need to be a little bit subservient if you're gonna work for Sullivan, right? And that's where I think. And I mean, accept the players that are given to you. And I think that's the mistake he made with Moyes, the mistake he made with Lopetegui. He made a big mistake with Lopetegui. I saw somebody describe David Coote as Pablo Escobar the other day. Who's David Coote? It's a good one, but who's David Coote? That went straight over my head. It must be a referee or something, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Right. Yeah.
No more pragmatic managers. I agree, Carpy 999. Absolutely. He does love pragmatism. And porn is what he likes. Pragmatic porn. So, what would pragmatic porn be like? I don't know. Right, Sullivan will go for Benitez. All of us in the chat as managers and manageresses, absolutely better than the one we got though. Let's face it. Guns to your head. You have to pick Grant or Loppy. Fucking hell, don't do that. That is not an option. That's like people who say, you know, it's a choice between Moyes and Lopetegui. That was never a choice. No, I'm not even choosing.
On that note, though, Gal.
Yeah.
Lopetegui or Moyes?
Oh, fucking hell. No, I don't even want that choice. No.
But that's how bad, right? That's how bad it is, though, mate. That's how bad it is that you're literally...
I can't choose. You know I dislike them both. I can't choose. That can't be a choice, right?
Gun to the head situation, right?
Sullivan will go
stick with Moyes or take Lopetegui, knowing what you know now. What's your choice?
No, Sullivan, this is my fear that he's going to end up with Southgate. He will be destroyed at West Ham. He will not be able to cope with the abuse he gets at West Ham. He barely coped with it for England, and that was largely remote abuse he got for England. It's going to be in his face at West Ham, right?
I could actually see that type of appointment. You know, I could see it happening. It's so
I can see it.
I can see the headlines now. I can see Sullivan.
Well, yeah, you know, he's an ex-England manager. He's got England to a couple of finals, high achieving, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Manage big characters, coaching the biggest tournaments. You know, that nonsense. It's all going to come out.
He didn't really manage the big characters. He just put all the big characters in every team, didn't he? All the big expensive players in every team. Is a tit, right? Afraid of his own shadow, that bloke. Maggie the Lollipop Lady, known Sullivan. Could be. She's giving him a shout, I think. Pragma erotica. Yeah, that's what it'd be. It's a new genre. A new genre. Paul Ince. Oh my God. That's one step up from Frank Lampard. You know that. Troublemaking, Chris. Troublemaking. Bringing a manager happy to wear a gimp mask. Well, it fit him well, wouldn't it? Fit him well. Keep the ref is under suspension after making disparaging remarks about LFD and Carp. Oh, Pablo Escobar then. All makes sense now, Ross. I'll do a retrospective laugh. Moyes. No. Loppy, actually. Pragmatic porn is Moyes' marriage. That's right, actually, isn't it? Pragmatic porn is Moyes' marriage. Well said, Obsidian Cash. Rely on you for accuracy. Right. If anything, she's nothing but a pragmatist. If she's anything, she's a pragmatist. That's for sure. The next appointment will be right. Otherwise, it will get volatile. It's already volatile, I think. It'll be even more volatile in 4 games' time when we lose 4 games, especially to Leicester and Wolves. Dear God. But anyway, look, let's Gary O'Neill. No, I don't want Gary O'Neill. It's far too unambitious, I'm afraid, Lee. He'd do a good job. He'd keep us up, but how can you get excited about Gary O'Neill? I couldn't.
He's been on the hit list anyway, hasn't he? Like, he was nearly getting sacked if he didn't get some points out of his last game or something. I'm sure he was, Gary O'Neill.
Yeah.
How the hell should we be taking him?
Sergio Conceição, I think the reason I'm attracted to him is because he's got a really good name. I don't know how good he is as a manager.
Easily really pleased, aren't we, to be fair?
I genuinely don't know. I'll be the first to say Conceição out. You know. Right, Rodgers will be okay. I agree. I'd take Rodgers. He'd be all right for a couple of seasons before he blew up, because that's what happens with Rodgers. Does a great job everywhere until, for some reason, the players stop performing for him. I think he spends a load of money, and then the owners refuse to give him more money to keep refreshing it, and he disappears up his own ass. Sally softcore. Bring back Bilic. Yeah, I think that ship has sailed.
I would do it, mate, in a heartbeat. If you,
I would bring him back. This season, for the rest of this season, I'll bring him back. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. You get my back in there. You get our back in there, Paul. You do. I like your Roger Schmidt shout. Who's Roger Schmidt? Will Still. No. West Ham fan. It's never going to end. Never going to end well, is it? Marco Bielsa. He's a nutter. He's an absolute nutter. And he makes me tired just looking at him. The way he crouches down.
Like he's taking a shit on the touchline. Yeah?
He's taking a shit on the touchline. Right. Michael Hughes, he's growing on me. Ooh, the Michael Hughes. Little Michael Hughes. Little winger Michael Hughes.
Oh, Hughesy that played for us. What?
Yeah, really? Is he a manager? Manager. Is he? Did you mean Dino Top Mollet? That might be a real person. I like made me laugh though. Bring back Bilic, Paulo Fonseca. We've got a lot of very knowledgeable, as you'd expect.
I like this one. Noble alongside Bilic till the end of the season.
I'll take that. Yeah, in a heartbeat. Yeah. I'd also take Noble alongside Nolan. Right, that'd be all right for the rest of the season. I think Nolan would be good. Nolan loves it. Yeah. I don't hate Nolan either. I think he's all right.
Oh, there's Michael Hughes. He's in the chat.
Oh, Michael Hughes.
Yeah, is it the Michael Hughes?
Yeah, or maybe it might be. It might be the Michael Hughes.
Yeah, so he's and he's put himself in the running for manager. I love it.
Settle for Terzic as well. Yeah, Terzic with Bilic as his number 2. Ooh,
I don't see that working, mate. Can you?
Ooh, I wonder if Bilic could take that, because he reminds me. He's a bit of a laid-back, cannabis smoking bloke. I think Bilic. He'd probably be fine playing a number 2 role, wouldn't he? He'd just chilling out. He'd be chilling out. It'd be in the background, wouldn't he?
Yeah, we want that, don't we? We want someone that's going to be chilling out in the background. And
well, take care of the players. This is what he's good at, after all. He's got good at. It's either Silver, Bournemouth manager. Right, okay. I think we're going to wrap up in a second. There's so many suggestions. This is all Di Canio.
I want to know what people are saying about
Southgate. That would explode so badly, Di Canio. It really would.
Southgate. What's the chat saying about Gareth Southgate?
Yeah, let us know what you... Don't just say you hate him. Let us know why you hate him, Southgate, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Jamie Carragher. Is he actually a football manager now?
He's not.
No, he's a pundit, isn't he? We can't have a pundit as a manager, can we? He's a pundit as well.
Mate. He's a bellend. You don't want him as manager, mate.
What's he going to do when he turns up at West Ham training ground and realises there's no Liverpool players there? He ain't going to know what's going on, is he?
Could you imagine him in post-match interviews? It would do my head in. It'd be worse than Lopetegui in a squeaky little voice.
Yeah. I don't know. You have to get a lens, special filter, so it's all the gob that comes out. Right? Oh, Noble on Nolan, man. Dino Topmoller at Frankfurt, who's third and plays 4-2-3-1 system. Damien. Right, okay. Well, I like the name. Dino Topmoller is a proper manager's name, I reckon.
Dino Topmoller.
I like it.
I've got to check this out.
I like it, Chris. Dino Topmoller from Frankfurt. He's got Frankfurt to third. Mind you, Palace have got the old Frankfurt manager. He's disappearing up his own arse now, isn't he? Even though they did beat Spurs.
Yeah. Dino Topmoller. Yeah, I'm looking at him now.
Dino Topmoller.
64 games as manager at Frankfurt. He's won 29. He's got a win ratio of 45%.
You know what I always remember? I always remember that semi-final of the FA Cup with Southgate's awful Middlesbrough playing against us. That team was just dross. If you had to
he was an awful cup manager.
If you had to align a word with Middlesbrough under Southgate, it was total dross, boring dross, right? And if you remember, if you were at that semi-final, you realise Middlesbrough didn't even sell out their seats. They were so fucking bored. Probably fell asleep on the motorway thinking about it. Steve Bruce. Oh my God, is he still there? I'll tell you, Karen would love him. Company.
I can't handle this anymore. All these names coming up, I can't handle this. It's making me feel depressed.
This is a very long list, isn't it? Very long list. But look, I'm quite happy with Potter or Marco Silva. If you want to spend money, Sullivan, I know you're watching. Go get Silva, other side of London. You won't regret it. Guarantee success. Tell him I sent you. Right. Never misses a calzone.
Gary, I would be happy with just an interim appointment until the end of the season, until we get, that's what I would be happy with right now. I think it's slim pickings to get someone for the long term. Let's be honest in terms of what's available and what's realistic. But if we can get someone that can kind of hopefully put us in a fairly respectable position by the end of the season, then get a new manager in, I'd be better. I think I'd be more pleased with that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. We're nearly down the bottom.
Yeah,
I think we should call it a day, Chris. Thank you, everybody in the chat. It's been quite funny in there tonight. Thanks for your company, and Chris, thanks for. It's like it's a mid-season break, isn't it? It's a mid-season break. We just came out, just did it. It's what we do.
I'm still feeling pretty depressed, if I'm being honest with you about West Ham.
Oh, stop it!
No. You've made me feel a bit depressed, to be honest with you.
You're so miserable. Come on.
No, you've slagged off all those players. You've dug out Creswell.
I didn't slag them off. I told you it was just like with a heavy heart. I did it, Chris.
No, I'm not looking forward to next weekend. I'm not. I'm fed up. These shows typically help me, right? They've actually helped me. It's been kind of like some form of therapy. Yeah. But tonight, it's kind of maybe further enhanced my anxiety and depression around West Ham. So thank you for that, mate.
Let's not get miserable until we're like a few days away from Newcastle. That's the time to get miserable, Chris. Not now. It's too early.
No, it's not.
Not too early.
It's definitely not.
Anyway, thank you everybody in the chat. We shall see you soon. Might make a show tomorrow. I might do one tomorrow. I think I will. I think I'll do one tomorrow. I've got a Sullivan topic to discuss. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. I know. Anyway, good night all. See you soon. Come in your irons.